Sounds good to me.
What do we got in store for him today, Matt?
Yeah, so first thing kind of wanted to loop back up on is just, government shutdown, obviously day 9. So the seventh vote falls, Senate gridlock deepens, a lot of economic things going on, small business was related, as we know, TSA flying. So yeah, just wanted to get your thoughts on what's going on there.
Another day, and another day of Congress and the Senate not wanting to kind of come together and get this thing done. Looks like they tried again today on another vote to get the government back open, but the Senate Democrats blocked that Republican-led resolution 54-45. So they need a few more votes to come across the aisle to open up the government again. That's really what it comes down to. And they're both pointing fingers. I did see one thing where one of the Democrats, I think it was Chuck Schumer, was talking about, hey, this is like relatively paraphrased, but he said the longer this goes on, the better it is for us meaning Democrats, right? It's like, okay, so who are you there for? Are you there for Democrats? Are you there for the American people and all the government workers who can't, get paid right now? That's right. What I wonder. And I would say the same thing if a knucklehead over on the other side of the aisle said something dumb like that,
Yep.
So it is what it is, a seventh failed vote. It looks like the number now is roughly 900,000 furloughed employees. It's looks somewhere around 15 to 20 billion a month, a week is estimated in economic loss because of that. Small businesses can't get, government loan paperwork through, and federal contracts are at risk. And, apparently they can't get certain reports because, those offices are shut down. So, I don't want to be flippant, but the longer this goes on, the more people kind of have to suffer that need to be working and getting paid, especially like you said, TSA folks, people that, hey, the airplanes are still flying. We still need security there. And those guys don't know if they're going to be getting their paychecks. And right now they're not.
Yep, definitely. Yep, it's an interesting thing. Yeah, all that's going on, and so yeah, just I guess we'll see what's in store kind of for the next coming weeks here, and see if we can get something together.
So maybe if you think those security checks are going to be letting some things slide because the government's letting their money slide, maybe not do any flying in the next until this thing is taken care of and those folks get paid.
Yep.
But it's finger pointing. It's the folks that, whoever you voted for, whoever got in there, looking out more for themselves right now, it seems like to me, than for the good of everybody. Right. So, and I don't know, one side could yell at the other can yell at the other side. But if you're not getting your job done, and you're literally voted into office to run things in the government, and you guys are out there playing around with people's lives because you don't agree on some things, and the government, the functional, like day-to-day kind of stuff in the government is not happening.
Yep.
I don't know. Our senators and congressmen and other people, are they getting paid? I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Very, very, very interesting stuff. And yeah, we'll be on the lookout for that. And kind of, while that's all going on, we do have some tools that we want to share that actually help entrepreneurs. So with all this going on, we wanted to share some things that might help keep cash flowing, like IPAs. And so, the installment payment agreements, IPAs, is, turning kind of service contracts into upfront capital. What are your thoughts there and all that's going on in the SBA world?
Yeah, so I've heard of these things years ago, but I never really thought much of them because I've always just had my head down grinding, find an opportunity, work the opportunity, close it, put together a deal, get the money every month, and run your business, right? But as you grow, it's real easy to have all that monthly income eaten up pretty quickly, and it's so let's say you got a deal for $5,000 a month and you sign a 3-year agreement to provide a service. In this case, let's say it's IT services, right? $5,000 a month. And actually, no, let's play it with it in your world, Matt, because I could see this work out. I don't know if any banks do this in your world, but so let's say you sign a big client and you're going to, provide, video production services and a number of other things. And this is a relatively large size client. They used to do this stuff in-house, but all those folks left, and all their equipment was really old and out of date. They got like VHS recorders and, 480p cameras and stuff from like the 80s and 90s, right? But they're looking to revolutionize, their video production so they can do some real marketing and be big players that way. And you sign a deal with them worth, let's say, $10K a month. And it says you're going to do so much for them every month. But a part of that deal is you're going to have, let's say, $200,000 worth of new production equipment bought. It does not, and it does not take long with like real legit level equipment to get to that amount of money, right? We're not talking crazy amounts, but I mean, for a company your size, a $200,000, purchase would be like, I might have to go find that money, right? I have to go check for some change in the couch and stuff.
Yep.
So what an IPA allows you to do is say, okay, I'm going to put together this deal. And normally what I would have to do is say, hey, you guys need $200,000 worth of equipment and $10,000 a month worth of services for 36 months. So in services, that's, $360,000, and equipment. So you give me a check for $200K, I'll buy you all the equipment. You'll have the equipment you need, and we'll do the services for the next 3 years. And they say, man, $200K, I mean, we could afford that, but I really don't want to spend $200,000 in capital. I got to, I'm going to own that stuff. I've got to write that off in the value over the next couple of years. So it's a capital expense. And I really didn't, we need this, but I didn't anticipate, that kind of a capital expense this year. Man, I don't know if I can do that. And you say, that's okay, because I've got a second option. The second option is, instead of paying me, let's say, and I don't know the exact math on the $200K amortized out over the 3 years, but let's say instead of that, you're going to pay me $12,500 a year, a month over the next 3 years, and the equipment's going to come with the deal. You don't have to buy that equipment. Oh, well, I think I'd rather do that. I'll pay a little bit more, and maybe in the long run I'm paying more for it, but that sounds like a good deal. Okay, great. That's what we're going to do. So here's your agreement, and there's a clause in the agreement that says that, hey, we work with a financing company that allows us to spread these costs over the course of 3 years. Once we sign this agreement, you're going to get a message from the financing company, and you're going to have to fill out a short credit application to make sure you qualify. But it looks like you guys are going to qualify that for no problem based. Let's say you did some pre-qualifying questions or something. You already talked to the bank, and they've been in business long enough and their revenue's high enough, whatever. And then what happens is that, let's say that's a $400,000 or $450,000, whatever the total value is of that contract now that you've agreed to. The bank, the client finances it with the bank, pays it back with whatever that monthly comes out to, without interest. You get all the money up front. So you get that $450,000 up front to do with what you need to do to run the business. So being smart, you go, okay, so did a salesperson close this for you? You're going to pay them their commission. Is there, you're going to pull the cost of the equipment out of that, right? Boom. Yep. Maybe because you do what you do, you get a better deal. So you were charging MSRP, but you're actually getting a discount on that of maybe 50 grand. So the equipment's going to be there. And after all said and done, you've got let's say 30% left to profit after you've paid all the expenses on that, what it's going to cost you to do that business approximately for the next 3 years. And you have that 30% profit to reinvest in your business, to scale, to do the things that was going to make it hard for you to eat in the business for the next month. You know what I'm saying? Pay for some more people, because when you close big deals for 3 years, it's great, right? Like, oh man, that's worth $400K. I'm gonna get 3 or 4 grand or 5 grand or whatever that looks like every month. That's gonna be great. I'm gonna build that up. Now all of a sudden I'm getting all this money. But sometimes you get to this you're bumping up against the ceiling of, you've got, let's say, 10 people on your team. Your monthly recurring revenue is X. Your cost of doing business is Y. All the other little nickel and dimey things that are getting your margins so close where every month you've got enough to pay your people. You're probably paying yourself maybe 30 to 40% of what you really should be paying yourself, right? And you've got a couple crumbs left to maybe reinvest or do something new with, or maybe not, or maybe you're on a line of credit to make those things meet, right? That's what tends to happen.
Yep.
But being able to do an IPA theoretically, and I've met some companies now that make this work, but you got to be smart about the mathematics there. But theoretically, let's say you do 50 new agreements a year, and half of those are IPAs because they have a big hardware or big outlay on the front end that the client doesn't want to have to do, and you can use the leverage of financing it to make it work. You're adding some MRR off of half of those deals. The other half, you're adding big lump sum upfront cash payments to your ability to operate and grow, and bring on a couple new people to help service the deals and all that kind of stuff. So kind of exciting when you think about it, right?
Yep. Yeah, very exciting, very cool. Love that. And yeah, it'll be really cool, especially for, some of those maybe younger entrepreneurs or things like that, trying to kind of, figure it out, or like you said, having some big purchases, things like that. So yeah, very beneficial and great information for, some of them younger or, more veteran business owners out there. And kind of moving on though, kind of from managing cash flows to kind of managing bullpens here. Let's look at last night's MLB playoff actions unfold. There's a lot of great baseball. It's the best, it's October playoff season here. So what happened with your Brewers? What happened last night?
Not the result we were looking for, but it wasn't a bad game. I was kind of watching it via score updates on my phone because I was at this event with my son last night because it's their homecoming week. So they had this big event at school where they had food trucks and stuff. So but if Cubs got off to a hot start with I think a leadoff home run. Who was that? That was Michael Busch. Leadoff home run. Couple runs, like first inning they scored 4 runs and they were just hot. And you're like, oh boy, this is gonna be a long night. But they didn't score again the rest of the game. The Brewers just didn't have enough in the tank to come back. So it ended up 4-3. I watched the tail end of it, man. I thought they were going to pull it off, Matt. I'm not kidding. I got to tune in at the 8th inning. And it's funny. My daughter was so mad. She was watching like a Minecraft video on YouTube or something when we got home. I'm like, nope.
Right.
So I turned it on and they loaded the bases with 2 outs. And the next guy, I can't remember the names off the top of my head, struck out. And I'm like, oh. So all they needed base hit would have scored 2. They would have been up by 1. Because the Cubbies, they were ice cold the rest of the game. So it was a good game, but they're going to go back at it today. But one of the other series on the AL side, the Blue Jays closed out the Yankees.
Oh, yep, they did. Got it done. They got it done.
Yeah, I grew up quasi Yankees fan. Like in the 90s and early 2000s, never been like, heavily invested in it or something, but I'm kind of happy that the Blue Jays won. They haven't been back to the championship series since 2016. This is the first time back in a while. They usually have a pretty strong ball club, but they just look really good. They're fun to watch. They hit the long ball well. I had some stats here pulled on Guerrero Jr. He hit .529 in the series.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's hard enough to hit that in the regular season, but to be clutch in playoff baseball with the stakes, super high. .529 for the series, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs. The dude is on fire.
Yeah. Yep. No, he's really got that clutch factor. I feel like he's like father, like son, They got the clutch factor there. Really do.
For sure. Sure. What's the other game? Oh, Tigers and Mariners tied up now. Right, tied up 2-2. Tigers win 9-3 last night convincingly. I don't know which way that's going to go now, man. The Mariners looked strong, but each side locked up now. So we'll see. It's going to go back to Seattle for Game 5. Yep. But that's fun. It's fun when it's not your team. I know we're kind of pulling for Seattle here on the show, and I think that's great. But it's fun when it's not your team. Like the Game 5s and the Game 7s. But when it's your team, I don't care who you are. You don't want that. You want to sweep That's all you want.
Yeah,
Right?
really.
Nobody wants the anxiety. I mean, they're fun and stuff like that, but like, oh, it's brutal.
Yeah, it is.
And then last one of the 4 game series is being played, Phillies Dodgers. Phillies stay alive with an 8-2 win over the Dodgers. So yeah, the Dodgers offense is stalling a bit. They're not looking so hot. I mean, they could turn it on at any moment for sure, but I don't know.
100%.
Fun playoff series this year. I think all 4 of those series are utterly watchable. Sometimes you just get matchups, or you just get teams in the playoffs that you know are just going to dump truck people and just roll through.
Yeah.
That's not happening this year.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, seems like, yeah, everyone's very competitive, not too much of anything. And yeah, it's going to be really enjoyable. And especially as the playoffs continue, the teams get more equal in competitiveness. So yeah, I think we're in for a really good postseason here for MLB.
For sure. Yeah, I think I'd love to see the Brewers and Mariners hit it out. I mean, honestly, if I look at all of these markets, they're major market areas. Obviously, the Yankees are the biggest pull. They're always the biggest draw in baseball. They're kind of like the Cowboys in football, right? But if you look at the cities where they're located, Chicago is massive. Obviously, New York is super massive. Toronto's a huge city. Detroit, massive city, even though it's shrunk a lot in the last 10, 15 years because of their economic issues. Still a massive market. Seattle's a huge city, multi-million city. Philadelphia, huge city, and LA, gigantic, right? Like New York, gigantic. So the smallest, people, a lot of people, if you've never been to Milwaukee, you don't really know. Milwaukee is a big city with a smaller city kind of feel. I would liken it to like a Kansas City, smaller than St. Louis, smaller than, maybe like a Pittsburgh. I think you could probably, like compare it to like a Pittsburgh or something. But Milwaukee had the Bucks win a couple of years ago. That was a big win for the city. They could use a baseball win for sure. The type of friend, when your baseball club is named after the process of making beer, it's just hard not to like them.
Yeah, 100%. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
So I don't know. As things hunker down here, let's see. Brewers could pull it out tonight. That'd be great. Taking a win in Wrigley, take some stress off of all the Brewer fans out there. But we will see. We'll see.
We shall see.
But that's all I got. You got anything else for me, Matt? Anything new?
No, that's about it for today. It kind of covered all the main big stuff. We did have our legacy episode of BLP go out yesterday with Jonathan Schreuer. So that's a really, really great episode if you guys want to check that out, kind of into the AI and gaming world. But, other than that, it'll be, really cool to continue, keeping a pulse on, I wouldn't call it cool, but really it'd be nice to kind of keep a pulse on what, the government shutdown. It will be cool to keep a pulse on, MLB playoffs. And so we'll keep you guys in the loop there.
Yeah. Go check out the legacy show that released last night. I watched it last night. It's always weird for me to watch the show that I'm in, but it seems like it's been so long since we talked to Jonathan. I could remember some of it, but one of the things I pulled out of it was his story. Being diagnosed with autism and stuff like that, and doing the things he's done, and how he's parlayed what some would call a disadvantage into something that he's doing so great now, which is using technology to manage large communities of people and get huge results for his clients. So if that speaks to you, whether it's something you're looking to do with your business or have done, you should check out the show and listen to what Jonathan has to say, because he's got a really cool story and a couple great companies he's a part of. So
100%. 100% agree.
Matt, great job today. Thank you for steering the ship. Everybody who is watching now and watching in the future, thanks so much for tuning in to episode 73 of the Daily BLP. Thanks, everybody. We will talk to you guys soon. Have a great Thursday evening. Take care, everybody.
Take care, guys. See ya.